The iPhone 18 rumor cycle is heating up fast, and the leaks suggest Apple's next flagship generation could be one of the biggest shakeups in years. The latest reports point to three headline changes: Apple's long-awaited foldable iPhone debut, a major camera upgrade that could introduce a variable aperture lens, and a completely different release strategy that splits the iPhone 18 lineup across 2026 and 2027. On top of that, early chatter hints at fresh new iPhone 18 colors, including light blue and a deep, dark cherry tone that could become a standout option for the Pro models. If even half of these iPhone 18 rumors are accurate, Apple isn't just preparing a normal yearly refresh. It's potentially setting up a multi-phase launch plan with new form factors, new camera hardware, and a new lineup structure designed to keep iPhone hype going for longer than a single fall event. Let's break down what the leaks are saying about the iPhone 18 lineup. The iPhone 18 Pro and Pro Max upgrades, the foldable iPhone, and what Apple might be planning for release timing, colors, battery life, camera performance, and key specs. The iPhone 18 lineup could be Apple's most complicated launch yet for years. Apple's iPhone strategy has been simple: announce the entire lineup in September and ship soon after. But the latest leaks suggest that model could change dramatically. Instead of dropping everything at once, Apple may split the iPhone 18 family into two waves: premium models first, then the more affordable models later. According to multiple reports, Apple could launch the iPhone 18 Pro and iPhone 18 Pro Max in fall 2026, and this event could also mark the debut of Apple's first foldable iPhone, often referred to in leaks as iPhone Fold or iPhone Ultra. Then, the standard iPhone 18 and lower-cost models like the iPhone 18e could reportedly arrive in spring 2027, potentially alongside a second-generation iPhone Air. If that split schedule happens, it would be a major change for buyers. People who usually upgrade to the base iPhone in September may have to wait months longer. Meanwhile, Apple could keep attention focused on the Pro tier and the foldable iPhone during the biggest shopping season of the year, then refresh interest again in early 2027 with a second launch. iPhone Fold. Apple's foldable iPhone could finally arrive. The biggest headline in the rumor mill is the foldable iPhone. Apple has been linked to foldable phone development for years, but the iPhone 18 cycle is increasingly being positioned as the moment Apple finally enters the foldable market. Leaks suggest this. Foldable model could be announced alongside the iPhone 18 Pro and Pro Max in fall 2026, and it may carry a price tag above $2,000. That would place it in direct competition with ultra-premium foldables from Samsung and other major brands. But Apple's goal would likely be less about matching spec for spec and more about delivering a polished foldable experience with iOS-level optimization, long software support, and strong ecosystem integration. If Apple introduces a foldable iPhone in 2026, it could be a halo device meant to reshape how the iPhone lineup is perceived, especially with the company nearing the 20th anniversary of the original iPhone. A successful foldable could also reignite upgrade demand among users who feel recent iPhones have been too incremental. Smaller dynamic island and underscreen. Face ID rumors. Another major iPhone 18 rumor involves the front design. Multiple sources suggest the dynamic island could shrink, potentially becoming much narrower than the current design. Some reports even claim Apple is moving toward underscreen Face ID on iPhone 18 Pro models, which would reduce the need for a large cutout. One version of the rumor says Face ID sensors could move beneath the display while the front camera shifts position, possibly toward the top left corner. Another version argues Apple will keep the dynamic island, but make it roughly 35% narrower, maintaining the familiar user experience while improving the all-screen look. This is one of the most important areas where leaks can get messy, because Apple may test multiple prototype designs before settling on one. But the overall direction is clear. Apple appears to be aiming for a cleaner front display with less visual obstruction. That's a big deal for video watching, gaming, reading, and everyday use, especially if Apple can avoid the image quality problems that often come with under-display camera technology. New iPhone 18 Pro battery leak, 5,000 mAh or more battery. Life is becoming a central battleground for flagships, and iPhone 18 Pro rumors suggest Apple could push battery capacity even higher. One report claims the iPhone 18 Pro could exceed 5,000 mAh, with a possible split depending on whether models include a physical SIM tray or rely solely on eSIM. If Apple really is pushing past 5,000 mAh in a Pro model, It would signal a continued shift toward prioritizing endurance over extreme thinness, something many users have wanted for years. It also lines up with growing interest in next-gen battery tech like silicon carbon, though there's no solid confirmation Apple will use that specific chemistry. For SEO and buyers alike, iPhone 18 Pro battery life may become one of the most searched topics, especially if Apple's Pro models end up setting a new benchmark for all-day and multi-day performance. Variable aperture camera on iPhone 18 Pro Max. A huge photography upgrade. Camera upgrades are often the reason people upgrade. And the iPhone 18 Pro Max may be getting one of the most meaningful changes in years: a variable aperture camera. Leaks suggest at least one rear camera could feature a mechanical iris, allowing the lens to physically open or close, similar in concept to how DSLR and mirrorless cameras control aperture. In practical terms, variable aperture can improve two key things. First, low light performance. A wider aperture can let in more light for brighter images and faster shutter speeds. Second, depth of field control. The camera could better manage background blur and subject separation, potentially improving portraits and close-up shots without relying purely on software. Smartphones have tried variable aperture before, and the results varied depending on sensor size and implementation. If Apple combines variable aperture with strong computational photography and larger sensors, it could deliver a noticeable jump in real-world photo quality, especially for people who shoot in challenging lighting. There are also rumors that the telephoto lens on iPhone 18 Pro models could get a faster aperture, which would improve zoom photos at night, an area where many phones still struggle. Additionally, reports suggest upgraded front cameras across most iPhone 18 models, potentially moving to 24 megapixels for sharper selfies and better detail in video calls and social media posts, A20 chip, new modem, and satellite connectivity. Rumors on the performance side. iPhone 18 leaks point to Apple's next-generation A20 chip. The rumored direction involves integrating components more tightly for efficiency gains, potentially improving both performance and battery life. There's also talk of Apple's next modem, possibly a C2, aimed at improving wireless connectivity. One of the more ambitious rumors suggests Apple could expand satellite support beyond emergencies, moving toward broader satellite communication capabilities. If Apple builds stronger satellite features into iPhone 18 hardware, it could become a major selling point for travelers, remote workers, and safety-conscious users, especially in areas with weak cellular coverage. However, not all leaks are purely positive. Some reports mention the possibility of component constraints, especially memory-related shortages, that could force Apple to adjust specs on certain iPhone 18 models. This could explain why Apple may separate launch windows and reserve the best components for the Pro tier first. New iPhone 18 colors. Light blue, dark cherry, and dark gray color leaks are always popular because they're easy to visualize and often influence buying decisions. The iPhone 18 Pro models are rumored to arrive in new finishes, with light blue and dark cherry being the standout names circulating right now, along with a dark gray option. A deep cherry tone could become the hero color for marketing, similar to how Apple often promotes one signature finish each year. Light blue could appeal to buyers who want something fresh but still subtle and premium. Some earlier rumors mentioned coffee brown, but later leaks suggest it may have been scrapped. If Apple also introduces a more unified rear design with a subtle transparent finish, as some reports suggest, these colorways could look very different in person compared to current iPhone materials and coatings. iPhone 18 release date rumors, fall 2026 and spring 2027. The biggest practical question for most buyers is timing, and leaks strongly suggest a split release schedule, fall 2026. iPhone 18 Pro, iPhone 18 Pro Max, and the foldable iPhone spring 2027, iPhone 18, iPhone 18e, and possibly iPhone Air 2. This would be a major departure from Apple's long-standing fall-only iPhone rhythm. It could also change how people shop, because the best time to buy may depend heavily on whether you want a Pro model immediately or prefer to wait for the base models. If Apple really adopts this strategy, it may also reduce the pressure to pack every model into one event, giving Apple more room to spotlight the foldable iPhone and differentiate the Pro models without competing against its own lower-priced devices on the same day. No clear iPhone 18 price leak yet. Good news for now. Despite the wave of leaks around design, Cameras, battery, and release timing, there's no reliable information yet about iPhone 18 pricing increases. That's encouraging, at least for the standard and Pro models. The foldable iPhone, however, is widely expected to be priced above $2,000, which would place it in a separate ultra-premium tier. As always, everything here remains rumor until Apple confirms it. But the overall picture being painted is clear. The iPhone 18 generation could be less about minor tweaks and more about a major strategic shift. New launch timing, new camera hardware like variable aperture, a potential foldable iPhone debut, a smaller dynamic island, stronger battery life, and bold new color options that make the iPhone 18 Pro models feel fresh again.